They say forgiveness heals everything. But no one ever tells you how much it costs. It was 2:47 a.m. when Emily stood outside the same house she once called home, rain pouring down her trembling hands, clutching the same brown suitcase she had carried 3 years ago. Same rain. Same street. Same heartbreak. Through the fogged glass, she could see the faint light of the living room, the one she decorated with love, laughter, and forgiveness. And there he was again, Ryan, sitting on the couch, head buried in his hands, the weight of guilt drowning him. She'd been here before. The first time, she cried until her heart nearly collapsed. This time, there were no tears left. Only silence, the kind that hurts louder than screams. She whispered to herself, "I forgave him once because I believed people change, but I was wrong." Her voice cracked, but her steps didn't. Every raindrop on her face felt like a memory trying to stop her, reminding her of the man she once loved. But pain had a way of clearing illusions, and this time, she wasn't going back. Because sometimes love doesn't die, it simply wakes up and realizes it's been bleeding too long. As she turned away, lightning flashed behind her like a curtain closing on the last act of a tragic play. And just like that, she was gone. Have you ever forgiven someone, truly forgiven them, only to watch them break your heart the same way again? If you have, then you already know forgiveness doesn't always fix what's already shattered. Sometimes, it just delays the pain. This story, She Forgave Him, Until the Same Thing Happened Again, is for every person who's ever said, maybe this time will be different. For those who stayed, hoping love could rewrite history. For those who held on when letting go felt impossible. If you've ever trusted someone again after they broke you, this story is going to touch something deep inside you. Because Emily's story isn't just hers. It's ours. The story of second chances that turned into second heartbreaks. Before we begin, take a moment. If you've ever felt torn between your heart and your peace, if you've ever given someone your forgiveness and watched them throw it away, then please, stay till the very end of this story. You'll see how even the deepest wounds can become strength. How sometimes, walking away isn't weakness, it's survival. And if you love stories that speak to your soul, that remind you that love is beautiful but never blind, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to remember their worth. Because tonight, we're not just telling a story. We're healing through one. Atlanta, Georgia, the city of bright lights and quiet heartbreaks. Emily Carter was 29, a registered nurse at Grady Memorial Hospital. Her life was simple: work, home, and taking care of her sick mother. She wasn't the type to chase love. She believed love would find her when the time was right. Her friends used to call her the gentle soul, always smiling, always giving, even when life didn't give much back. Her apartment was small but warm: beige walls, soft lights, and photos of her mother, who was her world. After losing her father at 15, Emily learned early that love could disappear without warning. Maybe that's why she valued loyalty more than anything. Then there was Ryan Miles, 32. A charming, confident business consultant with a laugh that could disarm anyone. He was the kind of man who looked like he had everything under control: nice suits, a smooth voice, and that effortless calm people mistake for kindness. But underneath, Ryan was restless, always chasing something new, something more. Before their paths crossed, they were just two ordinary people walking through life: Emily, learning to be strong for everyone but herself, and Ryan, pretending to be happy while quietly searching for something to fill the emptiness inside him. The city around them was full of noise, traffic, ambition, and the hum of people trying to find purpose. Yet, both of them were lonely in different ways. If someone had told Emily that the man she was destined to meet would change her life forever, she would have smiled and said, "I don't believe in destiny." But destiny believes in everyone. And it was about to bring them together in the most unexpected way, on a rainy day that would mark both the beginning and the end of everything she knew about love. It was a Friday afternoon, late in spring. Atlanta's skies had turned grey, the kind that warned of rain but never said when. Emily had just finished a 12-hour shift at the hospital. She was tired, her hair pulled back messily, scrubs damp from the humidity. All she wanted was a cup of coffee and a quiet corner before catching the bus home. She ducked into a small cafe downtown, Mocha Haven. It smelled of cinnamon, old books, and roasted beans. The bell above the door jingled softly as she entered. She didn't notice him at first. Ryan Miles sat by the window, tapping on his laptop, a cup of espresso by his hand. He looked composed, expensive watch, crisp white shirt, the kind of man who seemed to have time wrapped around his finger. Emily ordered her coffee, but as she turned, the unexpected happened. The rain poured suddenly, thunder rumbling like the sky itself was angry. In a rush to grab her drink, she bumped into him. The hot coffee splashed across his sleeve and her scrubs. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," she said, grabbing napkins. Ryan laughed softly. "It's okay. I needed an excuse to take a break anyway." Their eyes met, hers apologetic, his amused. And just like that, something subtle shifted. He offered her his seat by the window. She hesitated, but the rain made her stay. Minutes turned into an hour. They talked about work, traffic, Atlanta's unpredictable weather, and how life feels faster than it used to. When she mentioned being a nurse, he said, "You must have a strong heart. I can barely handle emails, and you handle people's lives." She smiled. "You get used to it." For the first time in a long while, Emily felt seen not as a nurse, not as a caretaker, but as a woman. When the rain finally stopped, she stood to leave. He looked up, hesitant, and said, "Maybe next time, I'll buy the coffee. You know, without the storm." She laughed, that light, shy laugh that stayed with him long after she walked out the door. That night, Ryan couldn't sleep. And neither could Emily. Because sometimes, love doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives with spilled coffee and quiet eyes that see you differently. From that rainy afternoon, everything changed. Ryan texted her the next morning, "Still owe you a coffee. Are you free after work?" Emily smiled at the message longer than she should have. She typed back a simple sure. It was supposed to be just coffee, but hours turned into laughter, stories, and the beginning of something that felt like peace. Days became weeks. Weeks melted into months. Ryan started showing up at the hospital after her shifts, waiting by his car with 2 takeout boxes. "Dinner for my favorite nurse," he'd say, handing her food and teasing her exhaustion. They'd sit by the riverbank near Piedmont Park, watching the city lights reflect on the water. She'd talk about her patients, the lives she touched, and how she sometimes felt invisible. He'd listen, really listen, like every word she said mattered. It was the kind of love that grew quietly. He called her sunshine because she smiled even when she was tired. She called him Mr. Coffee Spill. When her mother passed away 2 months later, Ryan was there. He didn't talk much that night, he just held her hand through the silence. And that silence said everything. He became her comfort, her constant. The man who made her believe love could actually stay. Their weekends were filled with late breakfasts, road trips to Savannah, and movie nights where they'd fall asleep halfway through. Ryan would wake up first, brush a strand of hair from her face, and whisper, "You're my peace." And she believed him. He told her about his past, about being raised by a father who was never home, a man who cheated on his mother and called it mistakes. Ryan promised he'd never be like that. Emily trusted him completely. They talked about marriage sometimes, half joking, half serious. He even gave her a spare key to his apartment. For the first time, she felt like her life had meaning beyond her work, beyond grief. Ryan made her laugh again, made her believe that maybe, just maybe, happiness wasn't temporary. Everyone around them said they looked perfect together, and maybe they did. But behind every love story, there's a truth no one sees. Because love isn't just built on promises. It's built on choices. And one wrong choice can tear down everything. At that moment, Emily couldn't imagine losing him. She couldn't imagine life without his smile, his voice, his presence. But what she didn't know was that the same heart she trusted, the same man she forgave once before, would soon test that love again. It started quietly, the kind of change you can't name but can feel. Ryan began working later than usual. Big client meetings, he'd say, kissing her on the forehead before leaving. At first, Emily didn't question it. He was ambitious. Driven. That's one of the things she loved about him. But love has a sixth sense, it knows when something's wrong, even before the truth shows its face. He stopped texting during the day. Their nightly phone calls grew shorter. When she asked if everything was okay, he smiled and said, "You worry too much, Em." Yet, every woman knows that it's nothing usually means it's something. One night, while doing laundry at his apartment, his phone buzzed on the counter. A woman's name flashed across the screen, Sophie. The message read, "Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about it." Emily froze. Her world tilted. Her heart thumped so hard it hurt. When Ryan came out of the shower, she was still holding his phone, her hands shaking, her voice low. "Who is Sophie?" His eyes widened, guilt, shock, fear, all in one flicker. "It's not what you think," he stammered. "She's just someone from work. We got too close, that's all." It wasn't physical. Tears filled her eyes. "Ryan, I trusted you." He tried to reach her, but she stepped back. "Don't touch me." That night, Emily left his apartment. She drove home in silence, headlights blurring through tears. Days passed. He sent flowers, messages, voice notes. He showed up at her door, begging, crying. "I made a mistake, Em. Please. I love you." It meant nothing. Her friends told her to leave. Her heart told her to forgive. And because she loved him more than she loved herself, she opened the door again. They tried to rebuild. Therapy sessions. Weekend trips. New promises. Ryan deleted the other woman's number, changed his habits, said all the right words. And for a while, things got better. He was attentive again. Loving. Present. Emily wanted to believe they had survived it. But deep down, a small voice whispered, "People don't change that easily." Still, she silenced it. Because when you've already forgiven someone once, you convince yourself they won't make the same mistake again. But they always do. And when they do, it breaks something that can never be fixed again. It was exactly 1 year after Emily had forgiven him, a year that felt like healing, like love could truly survive anything. Ryan had been perfect for months, attentive, loving, full of promises. Emily let herself believe that perhaps people really could change. That weekend, she planned a surprise, a small getaway to a cabin outside Atlanta for his birthday. She had packed his favorite snacks, handmade notes, and even a bottle of wine he liked. She arrived at his office first to pick him up, eager to see the smile she loved so much. But the moment she stepped into the lobby, she froze. Ryan wasn't alone. Across the office hallway, a woman leaned close to him, laughing softly. Her hand touched his arm, too intimately. His hand rested on her back. Emily's stomach dropped. She could see the subtle flirtation, the way he looked at her, not like Emily, not like love, but desire and secrecy. Her mind screamed, but her body moved automatically. She dropped the bag she had carried for hours. The sound of it hitting the marble floor echoed in the silent lobby. Ryan turned. His eyes widened, a flash of recognition, panic, and guilt. "Emily," he started, but she couldn't hear him. The woman noticed Emily and froze. She wasn't supposed to be here. Not like this. In that moment, Emily realized something chilling, the same betrayal, the same lies, the same hurt, only amplified. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just turned and walked out, feeling the cold rain against her face. Later, in the quiet of her car, her phone rang. It was Ryan, desperate, begging for forgiveness. She didn't answer. The twist came a few days later. She received an anonymous message from the woman's fiancé. "Thank you for being brave enough to find out the truth. I couldn't believe it myself." Emily's heart ached, but a strange relief washed over her. Karma had come full circle, not through anger, not through revenge, but by the truth exposing itself. She realized this time it wasn't about him, it wasn't even about her anger. It was about reclaiming herself. The man she loved, or thought she loved, had finally shown her the truth she had feared all along. Some people never change. Some mistakes, once repeated, are permanent. And for Emily, the only choice left was to walk away, one last time. The rain had stopped, leaving Atlanta streets shiny and reflective, as if the city itself was washing away the past. Emily sat on the edge of her new apartment couch, a cup of tea warming her hands. The apartment was small, but it was hers, no reminders of him, no traces of broken promises. For the first time in years, she felt the quiet calm of solitude that wasn't lonely but healing. Ryan called endlessly. Messages flooded her inbox. Flowers appeared on her doorstep. Each one felt like a small betrayal of her own strength. But she didn't answer. She didn't cry. She didn't run. Instead, she breathed. Days turned into weeks. She went back to therapy, journaled late into the night, and slowly let herself dream again, not about him, but about the life she wanted. She spent Sundays with her mother's friends, cooked meals she loved, and began volunteering at a women's support center. Each smile she gave felt like a stitch mending her soul. One evening, an email arrived. It was from Ryan. "Emily, I finally understand what I've lost. I'm sorry. I know words won't fix this, but I had to say it." She stared at the screen for a long time. Then she smiled, not a sad smile, not one tinged with longing, but the calm, firm smile of someone who had learned the value of self-respect. She deleted the email. For Emily, this wasn't the end of a relationship. It was the beginning of her own life. The woman who forgave once and then faced the same betrayal had learned a vital truth. Love is beautiful, but it must be mutual. Love is forgiving, but it is not blind. Love is not about sacrificing yourself for someone who repeatedly chooses to hurt you. She looked out the window, Atlanta's skyline glittering in the evening light. The rain had left everything fresh, new, and full of possibilities, just like her life. Emily finally understood, sometimes walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes, it's the bravest thing you can do. And for the first time in a long time, she felt peace, strength, and hope. She wasn't broken. She wasn't lost. She was free. Love can be the most beautiful and the most painful experience in life. Emily's story reminds us that forgiveness is powerful, but it has limits. She forgave once because she believed in change, because she believed in him, because she believed in love. That choice came from hope, from trust, from a heart that wanted to see the good in someone. And yet, when the same betrayal repeated itself, she realized that love without respect, love without honesty, is not love at all, it's just delayed heartbreak. Life teaches us that some mistakes, when repeated, aren't accidents. They are patterns. They are warnings. And the strongest act of self-love is recognizing them and choosing to protect your own heart. Emily learned that walking away isn't weakness. Leaving someone who repeatedly breaks your trust is courage. It's not about hate or revenge. It's about survival, growth, and reclaiming your own peace. Her journey shows that love is not about enduring pain. It's about mutual care, respect, and honesty. When these are absent, even the deepest love cannot survive. And sometimes, the most profound love story is not about holding on to someone else. It's about holding on to yourself. The lesson is simple, yet powerful. Forgive if your heart can. Love if it's true. But never sacrifice your peace for someone who doesn't value it. Emily's heartbreak became her strength, her sorrow became clarity, and her goodbye became the start of a life where she is free, whole, and worthy of the love she truly deserves. Emily's story is one of love, betrayal, forgiveness, and finally, self-discovery. It's a reminder that even in heartbreak, there's strength. Even in loss, there's clarity. And even when someone chooses to hurt you repeatedly, you have the power to walk away with dignity, courage, and hope. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever forgiven someone more than once? Did it heal your heart, or did it teach you a hard lesson, just like Emily learned? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might help someone else who is struggling to make the same choice. If Emily's journey touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more emotional and real-life love stories. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that speaks to your soul. And most importantly, remember this: love is powerful, but self-respect is essential. You can forgive, you can heal, and you can move forward stronger than ever. Thank you for watching, and remember, your heart is worth protecting, always.